What is up, guys? Rotten Apple here, and today I'm doing another Photoshop tutorial, same as yesterday, but this one is going to be a little more advanced. The last one was how to clip two images together. This one is also going to be how to clip two images together, but this one is more advanced than the last one because in this one we are going to be using color augmentation, and I'll get into what that is in a minute. So let's go ahead and just open up what we have. So right here I have a picture of a tiger roaring and a picture of a red apple. So go ahead and open up both of these because these are the two images that we will be clipping together. Now, if you remember from the last video, it's Command A, Command C. Go back over here, Command V. And then what you're going to want to do is transform the image to make it larger. So that's Command T for transform. And just hold down Shift while you're doing this, just to make it bigger. And it's going to be very blurry, but that's okay because we just need the mouth anyway. So let's go ahead and apply that transformation. And go over to your quick select tool, and we just want the mouth. That's all we need, just the mouth. We don't need any other parts. So that's perfect, right? What we have here. So we'll right click it, go over to layer via cut, and then as you can see it created a second layer. So let's go back to layer 1, right click it, and delete that right out of there. And as you can see, it doesn't really look that great, so make sure you have layer 2 selected, not the background, because if you have the background selected, that's going to happen. And if that does happen, Command Z is to undo. So make sure you have layer 2 selected. Now, go ahead and go to your eraser tool, and let's begin erasing the excess that you do not want. Just make it look how you want it to look. I think that is perfect. So let's go ahead and Command T. Once again, hold Shift, make it bigger so that these two sides right here are aligned with this part of the apple. Right there. And I'm actually going to tilt it slightly so it's not tilted as far down. And there you have it. Actually, there we go. So now we can just apply that transformation. And what we're going to go ahead and do is go over to the opacity. Make sure you have layer 2 selected. Change the opacity to, it's a little too low. Change it to about 70%. That's good. Change it to 70%. And then you can go ahead and back out of this tiger. You don't need that anymore. And then what you're going to want to do now is go down to your color palette, select foreground color, that's the one that's on the top. You're going to want to bring this up to the red and select your color. Now don't choose the bright red because that's not what the color of the apple is. Just select which one you think is right for the apple. I think that is a pretty good match, this and that. I think that's a pretty good match. So we're going to go ahead and go to our brush tool because we are going to be brushing this around. And I think this size is fairly good. Make sure the opacity is on 5. Because if the opacity is on 100, you get that, and that just looks ridiculous. So Command Z, undo that. Make sure it's very low. On 5 is a good starting spot. So let's go ahead and do that, and then just brush all around it. And you won't notice anything right away. You have to keep clicking and doing it over and over again until it starts to have a reddish tint to it. And you're just going to keep on doing that. And then after a while, go ahead and bump it up to 10. And then continue. And you want to make sure that when you're tinting it red, the areas that you want to get at the most are these black regions right here. These regions, the gums of the tiger's mouth, because those are the ones that are dark. They're black, so they're harder to change. So they'll require the most color to change. So just go ahead and augment the entire thing just for a little while. It's going to bump up the opacity to 13, and let's go ahead and just run through this one little quick time. And then what you're going to want to do is, after you do that, bump it down to 10 and just brush the entire apple so the contrast isn't as stunning. Now, you obviously won't notice anything because the apple's red and you're coloring it red, but it looks a lot less ridiculous if you do this. Trust me, guys, just please trust me on this. And that is basically it for now. What we're going to do now, make sure you have background selected. Go over to your color palette, click on foreground color, and select white. Nice pearly white. And make sure the opacity is now on 100% because we are going to be getting rid of this section right here. So you just need to color this white so that you can barely tell if there's any red there. Now obviously the red brush is still going to be there after you remove the coloring, so you're going to have to go back to layer 2, select your erase tool, and begin erasing the brush. Now make sure when you are erasing that you do not have background selected because that will not be good. Make sure you have layer 2 selected because layer 2 is the layer that we were applying the brush to and we were tinting it red. Let's go ahead and find all the edges, and there you have it. It's not exactly perfect, but it's good enough for your first try. So just going to go ahead and save that. I'll save it as Tiger Apple, and I will save it in the form of a JPEG because I'm not going to be editing it anymore. And there we go. That seems pretty good. There you have it, folks. That is how you clip two images together seamlessly with Photoshop CC 2014 and Augment Color. See you next time.